protect your business. Welcome again to our Protect Your Business webinar. Cybersecurity Month is every October, and we like to celebrate it. And this year, we decided to share this topic that's near and dear to my heart and everyone who has a business or lives in today's world. Cybersecurity is definitely top of mind, and I always say everybody's an ISO because whether you like it or not, your information is out there. You're contacting business or conducting business with other businesses. So just wanted to bring a couple good tips and hygiene messages to everybody so we can all make sure that we're as cyber secure as possible. And hopefully this will be helpful and thoughtful. There's a lot of good information here. As Stephanie mentioned, if you have any questions, please put those in the chat and we will answer them at the end, or if they require follow-up, we will obviously get that information to you after the webinar. So my name is Tori Day. I'm the Information Security Officer here at First Federal. Been in banking since the mid-90s, not going to say which year, but so a very long time, worked myself all the way up from a teller to information security. So I've been pretty much in every department within the bank and worked at Fortune 500 companies as well as local community banks, which are definitely where my heart is, and hence I'm at First Federal again. So get started. Cybersecurity Awareness Month, I'm using the materials from CISA. It really just ties a lot of good information together, and this is something that you can definitely take back, share with your teams, especially if you have any sort of cybersecurity or infrastructure that you manage or run at your business. Hopefully these tools and links will help make sure that you are cyber aware and cyber prepared, so nothing bad happens, and if it does, you know how to address it and how to move forward. So we're going to talk about building a cyber strong America. As we recently learned in the past couple of days, I know there have been some major outages, and raise your hand if you had any impact with that. I think several applications were down or had intermittent issues. So we're all very cyber aware and very cyber connected now in today's society. So we all need to kind of know what's going on in our worlds. And basically what cybersecurity really is concerned with is the protection of your computer systems, your networks, and you want to make sure that you're protecting yourself from malicious actors, call them threat actors a lot of times. And they do bad things, right? Basically, they want to get information from you and they either want to disclose it or sometimes they will use it and they'll steal things, damage hardware, software, data. And anywhere there's technology, there needs to be cybersecurity. So all of your things that connect to the internet in any manner, I mean, I've seen refrigerators now connecting to people's Wi-Fi networks to provide grocery list updates. So technology is everywhere. So cybersecurity is very relevant today. Cybersecurity best practices really want to make sure you're protecting your intellectual property and other sensitive data, as well as your networks and your systems that support your operation. So as I mentioned before, you know, if you have a provider, your internet goes down, that can wreak havoc to your operations. Always kind of having backup and, you know, good old paper and pen or other ways to do business. For both government and private entities, you know, making sure that you have cybersecurity plans and processes is going to ensure that you're protecting the operations and your critical infrastructure. There are really 4 essential behaviors this year that we're focusing on in 2025 to helping us stay safe online. Updating your software. Show of hands, please make sure you're updating your software regularly. Strong passwords and password managers, those are always very, very important. Password 123 is not a strong password, contrary to what somebody may have told you. Turning on multi-factor authentication, I know it can be a little cumbersome because you have to get a text message or an email. However, that is definitely best practice and helps us protect as well as you protect your business. And then recognizing and reporting phishing. Wanted to talk about that because we are seeing an increase in phishing and business email compromise happening across our customer base and also just across the news in general. So making sure that your employees know what to do if they receive a phishing email. So we'll touch on that as well. Updating software. So what should you remember about updates? Updates are the easiest way to ensure your devices and apps are protected from the latest threats. And Not sure if you guys follow the news of the 0-day vulnerabilities, but we see updates happening almost weekly, monthly, quarterly, etc. on most of our software and services that we use internally. And then also personally on your cell phones, etc. Very important that you update your software on your cell phones and your applications. Um, Reminder, updates only protect you if you install them. So if you at that point. So always make sure you install them right away. It can be a little bit inconvenient. I know you're sometimes having to pause work to do that or restart your computer, but it's very important. And then also make sure you enable automatic updates for convenience. That way you don't have to worry about remembering to do it, but always a good idea to check periodically. I try to check daily myself, just to make sure everything's updated on my personal devices. Where do you find your available updates? Check your notifications on your phone or computers. A lot of businesses will set up auto updating on their systems and computers. Look in your phone, browser, or app settings, and then also check in the corners of your browsers for any alerts. Next, we're going to talk about passwords, everybody's least favorite thing, right? Now that we have a bioidentity, I think that helps in some cases, but a lot of us, from a business perspective, don't always have the capital to spend on bioID information or systems to put into place. So we're stuck with passwords. So best passwords. What makes a strong password, right? So you want to look for at least 16 characters. And yes, that can be challenging. However, it's often, easiest to come up with a phrase. So you want to use your upper and lowercase letters. You always want to use numbers, special characters, spaces, if it allows in your system. Some of the older systems may not allow spaces. And then passphrases, which could be 5 to 7 unrelated words. For example, I like to eat green bananas. I don't like my bananas yellow, or, whatever. Can come up with any sort of something that means something to you. And then make sure that they're different for each account. They should be unique. I know, again, that can be challenging. And then you want to make sure you never reuse your passwords. And why is that important? Because with the amount of data breaches that happen, a lot of times information, or if you have an older password, there are services that you can subscribe to that will tell you when your password has been compromised. And a lot of times your older passwords may have been included in a data breach. Hence, that information is out there on the dark web. So that's why we never want to reuse our passwords. Password managers. These are really great because I don't know about you, but I have lost count with how many applications that I run personally and professionally. So a password manager has really helped me keep track of my passwords. It's going to store those passwords for you. It notifies me if I have a duplicate or if I've already used a password. It will automatically, this is my favorite thing, generate strong passwords that are like so many 20-something characters long and full of lots of special characters and symbols. It'll fill in my credentials on websites so that signing in is easy, and then won't fall for a phishing website. Even if I do, like a lot of times, it will be able to recognize the signs and will not allow you to proceed or log into them. Now, the encryption on your password managers basically ensure that they never know what your passwords are, and it keeps them safe from cyber attacks. So if for some reason your system is breached, they still don't have access to your passwords because it's in a password manager. So just an extra layer of protection for you. Multi-factor authentication, we also call it MFA. What is MFA and where should you use it? MFA is just, again, another layer of security for your accounts, and it just requires a quick second step to verify your identity. I suggest, and we highly recommend as a CISA, that you use it on every account that offers it, especially your email account. Now, I know everybody sends a lot of information via email, especially, it's just really easy to pick up that cell phone or go to your desk and type an email out to a business or a coworker or somebody you need to reach out to. And email is unfortunately one of the most, I would say, hacked things that we see. Business email compromise is definitely on the rise. Accounts with financial information, banks and online stores, a lot of them are moving to MFA as required. And I understand that it can be frustrating because you have to wait for that text message or you have to input it into the system before you can access it. But we're really just trying to protect you. And trust me, you don't want your account to be compromised. And then accounts with personal information, social media, Facebook, Instagram, TikTok, all of those wonderful applications that everybody loves to use, LinkedIn. Excuse me, please make sure you're selecting MFA because we want to make sure that it doesn't get taken over. If you by chance have perhaps an older password, or maybe you haven't changed it in a very long time and maybe you just forgot and used the same one as another account. I have seen or had personal experience with friends and acquaintances who have lost access to their Facebook account, their LinkedIn account, their Instagram account. All of these things have been compromised and taken over. So it's a great idea to make sure that you have that MFA turned on. That way, if somebody's trying to log in, you're going to be notified because suddenly you're going to get a text that, hey, are you trying to log into your Facebook account from, you know, Mexico? No, you're not. So you know that your account is at risk. And so that's why it's a great idea to make sure you have it turned on. It's just another level of security and protection for you. So there's a couple different methods of MFA that are available, and you want to use the one that's most secure, however, also allowable at your business. So security keys such as YubiKey to log in, it plugs into your device. It's really great against phishing and it's easy to use. There's authenticator apps that prompt you to enter a number on your phone. You enter the number shown on the login screen to confirm your identity, and you can go to the App Store or the Apple Store and on your cell phones, and then also check with your business and determine which type of MFA they use. There's authenticator apps with a one-time code. These apps will generate a new code every second or every 30 seconds, excuse me. Biometrics, again, as I mentioned before, that does make it easier. Using your face or your fingerprint to confirm your identity. And then also text or email codes. A one-time code is sent to your phone or email. That's unfortunately the least secure method, especially if your email has been compromised, but that is better than no MFA. So that is an option out there. Just work with your business team and determine what is appropriate for your security processes at your individual business. All right, moving on to phishing. The reason we really wanted to kind of talk about this for Cybersecurity Awareness Month is last year we talked about business email compromise and why it is such a scary thing. And we are seeing more and more of our customers and external customers and in the news where people are being compromised because of a phishing scam. So phishing is basically somebody, a threat actor or criminal, sends an email to your business, and a lot of times it's going to have a tone that's urgent or makes you scared. And if your business does cybersecurity awareness or phishing training, a lot of times they'll say, click this link immediately or your account will close, or we've been trying to reach you, and if you don't respond to this email, we're going to freeze your account. Or Microsoft, we've seen some of that. Your account has a virus, please click here so we can connect you with our support area. Sender email addresses don't match the company that they're coming from. For example, there's Amazon versus Amazon with a 0 instead of an O. So they will kind of look very similar to a legitimate email address, but you can hover over it and see the differences if you're paying attention. Unexpected communication, such as an email or attachment you weren't expecting. Unfortunately, a lot of PDFs and also Microsoft Office Google Docs can contain malicious information or code. And so if you're not expecting the email or attachment, definitely do not click on it or open it. If somebody's asking you to send personal information, as a reminder, email is not a secure form of communication, and legitimate organizations will not be asking you for personal information through email or unexpected calls. Make sure that if your bank calls you and says, hey, we need to just verify this or that, you say, thank you very much, hang up, and then call your business or bank representative directly at the number you have on file for them. Don't give information over unexpected calls. Misspelled words and bad grammar and odd URLs are another good sign of a phishing email, but keep in mind we now have AI, so it's everywhere and it's getting harder and harder to spot these. The grammar errors they're not as prevalent as they used to be, so stay diligent. Recognizing and reporting phishing. So now we know how to recognize it. Now keep in mind these are just general tips. You would want to refer to your specific business policies on how you handle phishing emails, but these are just some best practices. So do verify that the communication is real. And the best way to do that is to call them directly through a known phone number or email them through a known email. Again, I caution you because of the rise in business email compromise. If it's something that is a request that's not normal, or maybe it is normal, but it's out of character, pick up the phone and call them at the number that you have on file, not the number included in the email, just to make sure that you're actually getting a legitimate email, because business email compromise, right? Report it to your ID department or email phone provider. So if you have a tool that you use, or if you have an IT department, you would report it to them. Using email filters, a lot of email services offer filters that you can set so that it doesn't get to your email or employee's email box. I've seen cases where there's different services that offer you the ability to pull back any phishing emails, so that if I recognize and get a phishing email, I would call my IT help desk, and by reporting it, they can pull that email back in so that nobody else accidentally clicks on it. And then the last thing you want to do is delete it. Now, things you don't want to do. You don't want to click on any links you don't trust, and don't click on the unsubscribe button either, because let me tell you, there's been some research on that, and a lot of times unsubscribing actually doesn't unsubscribe you and can actually compromise your device. So not a good idea. Don't click on the attachments if you weren't expecting or recognized, and then never share personal information such as user ID and passwords, date of birth, social security numbers, business ACH instructions, all that stuff, wire instructions online or over the phone with an unexpected phone call. Always make sure you know who you're talking to. Level up your defenses. So there's a couple of things that CISA recommends to really protect your business. And so some of the best practices are using logging and monitoring, making sure you're backing up your data, and then also encrypting data. And there are some tools in this webinar that we'll be sending out that have links to additional information about these topics, so you can do your research and make sure that your business is cyber secure. Logging and monitoring. So just kind of a synopsis of what it is logging is basically the process of recording the activity on your business systems, including who accessed what, when, and from where. So this is a great tool if you ever have to do some investigative work on the back end. Perhaps somebody tried to get into your system, and you'll be able to see who was accessing it or where they were. And then monitoring adds that layer of oversight, and you can review those logs in real time, identify anomalies or unauthorized behavior. If you see somebody, as an example, a lot of banks will have a system that will notify them if a specific user ID is failing, and we have somebody trying over and over repeatedly to access an online banking account and the password's wrong. It will eventually notify us and lock them out, and may require a call to the bank. Same thing with like business accounts. A lot of times if you have an online account with a service provider and you lock yourself out, you may have to make a phone call to get unlocked. And so these two tools will help make sure that you understand what's normal for your baseline in your business. And that means if anything is outside of the norm, you'll know that it's suspicious, like unauthorized access or attempted breaches, and you can better protect yourself. How do you start logging and monitoring? So congratulations, CISA does offer free tools. So yay, we got something free that make it simple to collect and review key systems. And so there's going to be some links in this deck that will help you with your logging and your monitoring. So as I mentioned, Stephanie will send this out. I'm not going to go into details, but that is available to help you at your business. Backing up data. Why do we need to back up data? The reason we want to back up your data is because if something happens, whether it's a power outage, a provider outage, an internet outage, you want to make sure that you have a secure copy of your business critical data that's stored separately from your primary systems. I think as technology has evolved, we've seen the need for this more and more. And in the event of a cyber incident, ransomware or system failure or disaster, such as a hurricane or a tornado or a flood, you want to make sure that you have that information as a backup so you can restore your data and recover quickly. You don't want to lose all that information. Basic practices for backing up data, or best practices. So the 3-2-1 backup rule. You want to have 3 copies of important files in 2 different types of storage media, like a hard drive and the cloud. And then you want to have 1 copy stored off-site away from your business location. So pretty easy to remember, challenging to implement, but as I mentioned before, CISA does have some tools available to help you with that. Encryption. All right, encryption is basically keeping your information safe by scrambling it in unreadable coded language. It's only accessible to someone who has the key. So even if a cyber criminal does have access to your files, they can't read it because the information is locked and unreadable. So that's why encryption is important. And a lot of servers or services, you will see that things are automatically encrypted. For example, Gmail. Why should you encrypt? What should you encrypt? You want to make sure you work with your IT team to implement encryption for your organization. So that would include all your devices like your laptops, your desktop computers, your hard drives, any removable media, any laptops with data that are and relevant documents for enhanced security. That can include like PDFs, Word, Google Docs, etc. You want to make sure you're encrypting your data both at rest and in transit. And then making sure that you're backing up your data in an external hard drive or a properly vetted cloud service, and always encrypt your backups. That way they're not readable to anybody. Maintain offline encrypted backups of data regularly and regularly test your backups, So you want to make sure you can actually access the information that you've backed up in the event that you do have an outage of some sort. Reporting cyber incidents to CISA. The reason we wanted to kind of talk about this, or this information is included, is as a business community or a small business owner, large business owner, not sure where you fall into the spectrum, but information sharing is very important because it helps us, the government, really work together with the FBI, et cetera. I'm not sure if you've been involved in cyber incidents, but there are a lot of resources that are pulled together and can help you deal with and hopefully go after and prosecute the threat actors. So the information sharing also works with suspicious activity, system vulnerabilities, cyber incidents, and CISA will share the threat intelligence, mitigation tips, and technical assistance with you. And it's bi-directional. So you share information with them, they'll share information with you. So indicators of compromise, attack methods, timelines, and system impacts, and they'll send out and you can sign up for alerts. You offer threat bulletins, mitigation advice, protective measures, and tools to reduce risk. And that's a free service that you can sign up for, and it'll help keep you abreast of vulnerabilities that are out there in the wild. So more ways to increase your cybersecurity, report your cyber incident to CISA. And then also, if we do have any local or small business governments, you might be able to migrate to the .gov domain. So that's just an option if you are a government entity on this call. If you want to report a cyber incident, there is a link in this WebEx that we will share with you, and it's just directly to cisa.gov/report. And migrating to the .gov domain, just wanted to share this information with you. If we do have any Gov organizations, you can request, and it's reserved exclusively for U.S.-based government organizations. Federal, state, local, tribal can register for it, and it is a service that CISA can assist you with. So it does build trust and improves your security for public-facing services. To get migrated, you would just go ahead and click on the link in this deck and to find out if you're eligible and get CISA support to migrate. A lot of times cyber criminals will create fake email addresses and websites to impersonate government addresses. Um, so you want to make sure if it's available to you, you take advantage of that. There's some additional resources. We have some Cybersecurity Awareness Month information. There's a link to reporting a cyber issue. We tried to put a lot of that stuff together for you. There's some cybersecurity performance goals. There's a cyber resource hub. There's some great cybersecurity training and exercises that you can use for your teams. And then CISA also has a YouTube channel. Yay! So we can go watch YouTube about cybersecurity information safety. And for any information or assistance, they have central@cisa.gov. You can send them directly questions. And now, as we talked about cybersecurity, just wanted to segue into Positive Pay, which is another tool that First Federal Bank offers, which allows you to be proactive about fraud and detect upon unauthorized checks. So, what is Positive Pay? Positive Pay is basically a feature and functionality that allows a business who may have a lot of check or vendors that they pay on a regular basis, perhaps not electronically, but you're still writing paper checks, which is very common. And we have seen a large rise in check fraud. So Positive Pay is here to help make sure that you are stopping unauthorized transactions from clearing your account. We allow you to control that. We help with payee alteration. So if somebody picks up a check and changes the payee, you're going to be aware of that and be able to decline to pay that check. It gives tellers at the branches, if you're writing checks with First Federal and somebody's coming in to cash a check, it will allow us to verify that this is in fact a legitimate check and the payee and the amount has not been altered. We do accept virtually almost any file format to work with our Positive Pay system. And it also allows you to set user permissions and user account access so you can control who at your business sees what information. It will integrate with account reconciliations and account payable systems so you can easily reconcile your books, and it'll let you retain the ownership of users and maintain the the permissions at your company. It will also help save money by limiting potential losses and legal fees by making sure that you can timely return unauthorized items because, as I mentioned before, check fraud is on the rise. It's one of the easiest ways to commit fraud. So wanted to kind of bring that to everybody's attention that it's a service that we offer. If you need more information, feel free to reach out to the bank. And thank you very much for participating in our cybersecurity awareness seminar for October. If we